going to continue modeling this shark. We're going to do the teeth and the mouth cutout to put the teeth in. So I'm going to start with the cutout for the mouth, and we'll look over here, and this is what we're going to be doing from the handout. Make those teeth and with a 2-rail sweep, and we'll make that cutout from a side view and a split. So let's get to work on creating the mouth. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to use the same technique we used on the penguin. I'm going to have a curve in an orthographic view, a closed curve that's extending completely past the shape, and I'm going to use the split command for that. So I'm going to come in here so I can see my scan. Now with the mouth, we have to take a little bit of liberty because it's closed. If we show a closed mouth, we're not going to see any teeth, and nothing says shark like a row of teeth. So I'm going to come in here with my interpolate points curves, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come to a sharp point because I want a distinct curve for the top and bottom. It's going to work a lot better later. I'm going to join these two, and I'm going to use the split command to split this surface with that shape, and I have that one there. I'm going to delete that. So I have that curve there and that cutout, and I want to create curves from that. So I'm going to use duplicate border, and du keys up to duplicate border, and that's going to give me a closed curve here, and I'm going to shut off the shark body so I don't play show and hide. And there's my curves. I'm going to explode them, top and bottom, and that's going to be the path for the teeth. And I'm going to take out this because I want to go over that. I drew these curves, mirrored them before to get a shark's tooth, and I'm not that concerned about the scale. We'll use a little transform to make them a little more snaggly so that they're not machine perfect. I did the mirror, so maybe just I'll deal with that a little bit later. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to put in my cross-section curve. I'm going to put in my center-based ellipse, and I'm going to make it vertical right off the bat, right? Because if I don't, it's going to be sitting in the same plane. And I'll give it about like that. And I have these two shapes here, and I'm going to rebuild this one, kick it up a little bit so I have some more points, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tweak just so it's not machine perfect. I don't want it totally symmetrical, and maybe I'll rebuild this one and do the same. And maybe I'll turn on the points and a little bit. Yeah, that's good. So I have that, and I'm going to do my 2-rail sweep. But I made, did I make a layer yet for this? I'm going to make a layer for the teeth, right? I want my lines and the teeth and my surfaces on different layers. Let's keep it organized. So the teeth lines is current, and let's just make a new one, and let's call it teeth, and make it current, and sweep 2 rails. And I got that tooth. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so I have that. Now I want to get the tooth on this surface. So because with this, we're going to use the sweep. We're going to use the array along curve command. And the array along curve command keeps the relationship of the object from the very beginning of the curve. And it uses that as a guidance, as a reference point. So we have to get this shape exactly as close to that beginning of the curve as we can. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the move command, and I'm just going to pick a reference point, and I'm going to pick that and put it right at that end point. And right now you can see that that tooth is way big for that. So I'm going to use the scale command. I'm not going to use the gumball scale because I want to scale it right from that point so I don't have to move it again. And I'll bring it down to about there. And there's my curves. I'll get rid of those guys. Okay, so now I have the situation where I want to get this oriented on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide. Well, before I do that, I'm going to copy this curve, and I'm going to copy it in place. Click down there in place, And now I've made a copy of this. And I'm going to hide one of those. And I'm going to hide the top one. And while I'm hiding, I'll get that. So I have this curve. Now what I want to do is I want to measure where this curve is going to get on that intercept. So I'm going to put a circle. And I'm going to use, right, in that circle, kind of like what we did when we were doing our constructions. I'm going to use that circle to track where this would go, where this endpoint would track over to here. I'm going to come on top view, and I'm going to trim that curve. Now remember, we still have our path curve because we made a copy of it. That's why we made this little copy, just to work from. I have this, and now I know I want to get this line on this shape, and now it's going up in space. It's important I get that as close as I can. So we'll use the orient 2 points command, and we'll get this. I'm going to keep that line too, in case I need a rotation axis later. And I'm going to go from, let's go from here to here, and then from here to come in there and get that endpoint close as I can to there. Okay, so I got that endpoint, and I'm going to show. And there's my curve there. That looks like a pretty good relationship. Now I'm going to use the rotate 3D to get, I'm going to hide that curve again so I can just get my axis. I want to be careful I get that, and I get that curve. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to rotate 3D, and I'm going to just pick that up, give it a little bit of inward rotation like that, so it's like a shark's tooth, and I'm going to show. Alright, so now I'm set for the next part of this command. I'm going to do the array along curve. And we'll do an array along curve. And the object is this one. And the curve is this one. And let's go with